this is a part here that's kind of a big deal, this related party transaction thing. So we're moving on to section 4460. And if you think about all the trouble we go to in an ASPE situation, you think about with an ASPE company, we're concerned if there's a related party transaction. Remember there's that section 3480, which, pardon, 3840, which I mentioned up here. The big goal of that section in ASPE is to say, if somebody moves something from one pocket to another, if they sell something to themselves, can we show a gain on it? And the answer most of the time is no. So you have to decide on this related party transaction, you know, is it a gain? Does it go at the carrying amount or the exchange amount? You know, do we show a gain or not? Here with these nonprofit organizations, they don't care about those numbers. They say, well, gee, it's a nonprofit place. We're not in the business of making profit. Nobody's looking to see if you've made a profit, so that however you show it is fine. We don't care about the numbers you use. All we're going to be concerned about is disclosure. You know, we're going to make sure that you put everything in that tells people what related party transactions you've had. And if we look at the list of things that is required to be disclosed, it's exactly the same list that you'd find in the ASPE handbook in that section 3840. Okay? I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I want to talk about some of the highlight areas. If you look at B here, I've underlined this one area because they want a description of the transaction, and notice that they're talking about including things where no amount has been recorded. Okay? So that, you know, you might have a situation where a director of your association allows the association to use an office in his building rent-free. Okay? Well, there's nothing in the books, but we've got to make sure that gets disclosed, because, you know, what happens if that director gets, you know, miffed at us and leaves, and maybe now we can't use that office rent-free. Maybe we have to go somewhere and actually rent an office. Okay, that's going to have an impact on the cash flows. People should know that there's that, you know, that possibility of a problem. So we have to find all these things where maybe we're getting some related party transaction causing something that's not showing up on the books. Okay? We go down the list here, and really the other ones that, I mean, C and D deal with, you know, how did you record these things? You know, what numbers did you use? Under ASPE, that's where you have to think about, you know, well, which one's the right one to use? You know, should there be a gain, use the exchange amount, or no gain, the carrying amount? Well, here, they don't care. They just want you to tell them what you did. But if you looked at E here, E is really kind of a big one. If there's any amounts due to or from those related parties, and you have to have a good description in there, okay? So that if you have an interest-free loan from a director, well, you want to make sure all the details, not just due to director, you know, you can't say due to related party, that's not good enough. You have to say due to director, loan payable to director, but you also have to have the terms in there. That's interest-free, maybe it's a demand loan, so that people will know that you got this money, and if you had to replace it, maybe you'd have to pay interest. So that those are the key things in there that I think are worth knowing, but they're the same things that you've been doing when you've been disclosing the related party transactions for a regular ASPE business.